Obviously, it's like probably about 12 hours since we saw, but you might be able to update us on some of this. First of all, how's that illness? Have you managed to contain it? And the likes of, obviously, Ian's up, he missed out yesterday. Is he all right back in?
No, he's still at home at the moment, recovering, as is Jamie Gittins. Our club doctors are doing everything they can to contain what looks to be a virus, because some members of our staff have gone down as well. Had a meeting today with the players about washing your hands, the basics, which is really important, and hopefully we can contain it. We have a busy period, so we need everyone ready to go and fit and healthy.
And obviously you spoke about Cole Palmer. We'll hope he'll train tomorrow. Well, Reece James, can you just expand on that situation? You just said it was a hip problem.
Yeah.
But, where is he? And I guess managing him is so crucial, because he is so crucial for you.
Yeah, both of them are training today. So we just need to assess them after training, make sure that they come through all of the protocols they need to come through. But it'd be great to have them back in the squad. And at the moment, it looks like they could be.
Yeah. Just news of Facundo Buonanete going to Leeds. For you, I guess, is it good for him, and does it free up another space for you, kind of, to bring somebody else in that maybe is more suited to what you want to do?
Well, firstly, on Facundo, I thought he was magnificent against Charlton. I thought he gave a really good performance. I felt, in terms of the games and the minutes he's had, it's not quite what he wants, so we're looking into the best solution for him. I'm in constant communication with the sporting directors and the ownership about, potential transfers that are good for us, both in coming in and coming out. But I said to them when I first came in, I want to look at this group. I want to assess this group, because you get good surprises, and if something is right for us in any position that's going to help the team and the club, we'll look at it.
I know you spoke a lot about Robert Sanchez last night. Just looking back on those quotes, I was interested. You talked about having worked with him for 2 days and have asked him to do certain things. What sort of things did you ask him to do? Because clearly you took the responsibility.
Of course.
And Manchester United side, he's certainly put a consistent performance together for Chelsea this season, hasn't he?
Yeah, I got asked the same question last night. There's always differences.
Maybe you didn't answer it properly.
I might not answer it properly now. No, look, every manager that comes in has a different idea. There are different triggers, there are different patterns in terms of what I'm asking not just Rob to do, but the whole team. Positions you take up on build, it's never going to be perfect the first time. When it's right to be direct and to play, especially against the man-for-man press, it's the right thing to do. It's just making sure that the decision making, not just of Rob, of the whole team, is there. That will come. I have no doubt about it. Rob's had an outstanding season. Philippe showed really, really good signs of his understanding as well against Charlton. But what I have to do is a fine balance. I want to win now. I want to improve the team and put my stamp on it, and that's what we'll work on for Brentford.
And you've obviously seen both goalkeepers now play a game for you. And there was chopping and changing between the two quite a bit last season. But for you, does Sanchez remain your number one for the Premier League?
It's the same for every position. I'm here to assess every position. I don't have number ones or number twos. That's not how I work. If you look at me at every club, there has to be competition. I work on performance, not just in the goalkeeping department, but in every position on the pitch. And you have to earn your spot in this team. I have a very good squad. So for me, that's the message to all of the players. I don't have guaranteed number ones or guaranteed number nines. They have to earn their place in the team.
And just finally for me, I think you mentioned the other day you worked with Keith at Sky, didn't you? I think you played each other once in your career.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
No.
2011.
That's right, it was so long ago. What was the score?
You won. Hull beat Ipswich 1-0.
Oh, wow.
That's the only time I think you've ever met in your sort of professional playing career. I wondered, obviously, analysts together, sort of similar age, both been given opportunities at Premier League clubs. Did you keep that communication? Have you sort of bounced ideas off him over the years? You've got a relationship with him, and clearly, obviously, impressed with what he's done so far.
Yeah, he's done a great job. I'm not surprised because I've known Keith. I've had really good conversations with him over the last few years. He's always been really passionate about the game. He's got a lot of experience in coaching in different roles, and his team are performing really, really well. I've got a good relationship with him. He's a good guy, and really not surprised at what he's done so far with Brentford. He's at a good club where they have a clear idea about their infrastructure and what they want to do, and analysing his team, they're in a good form. They're going to be a difficult challenge for us, but one that we're really looking forward to.
Thanks, Gail. Alex?
Hi, Liam.
Hi.
I'm sure it's all been a bit of a whirlwind for you, but how would you sum up the last 10 days? Has anything taken you by surprise, or is everything exactly as you expected?
Not really. In terms of the surprise, the biggest surprise is I felt how at home, how welcomed I've been. It's honestly the staff, everybody involved in the club here at the training ground, at the stadium last night, the players as well. They've made my life very easy. They're a great group to walk into. I think a lot of the messages I've given to the players, they've taken on board. It's a disappointing result and disappointing to lose the goals in the manner we did, but a lot of really, really encouraging signs as well. And I just want to keep that going. So overall, the surprise is that there haven't really been any surprises.
The Chelsea fans were singing your name as well last night. How important is that relationship to you?
I think it's two-way. For them to sing my name, they need to enjoy what they see on the pitch. They need to see us attack games. They need to see us run, but most importantly, they need to see us get results. So in order for that to continue, we need to perform on the pitch, and that's what my focus is on. And hopefully I can develop a really, really good relationship with them, not for what I say here, but for what they see on the pitch.
You just said Brentford are a great team. In your opinion, from what you've seen of them this season, what makes them dangerous?
I think what makes them dangerous, they're a proper team in every phase of the game. All 11 players are willing to defend. Again, a very good team on set plays, whether that's from long throws, wide free kicks or corners. They're a team with no ego. Which in the most positive terms I can say that. They work really hard for each other. They're very well organised, as every team in the Premier League is. So we know the challenge. We know we have to be at a really, really good level on Saturday. And we're going to prepare the game as we always do in the best possible way.
Thank you. Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alex. John?
Hi, Liam. I'm sure you're aware the home form hasn't been great this season. I mean, it's 3 defeats, 3 draws in the league. They've got a habit of throwing away leads as well, and especially at home. So, I mean, it's a big question, but how do you go about trying to improve that? Can it be psychological with the players at home?
I think the past is the past. I said that to the players when I first came in. I can only affect the now. If I affect the now, I affect the future. So for me, I'm not focused on anything that's happened in the past. I want us to be front-footed. I want us to be high tempo, especially in the beginning of the game, and take the game to the opposition so they know it's a difficult game to come to Stamford Bridge. And actually, I want to play so we get the crowd on our side. They're all things that we'll talk about in the next couple of days. But the most important thing is that we do the basics really, really well. You know, we win, again, I keep going back to the basics, win duels, defend set plays well. That's something we have to improve. Even from last night, all 3 goals, one's from a corner, one's from a throw-in, one's from a free kick. We need to switch on a little bit more in those moments, and if we do, with the talent we have and with the players we have and the team, we have a good chance of winning the game.
There's also, I'm sure you know, a demonstration plan at Stamford Bridge before the game. So how difficult an environment is this to walk into, where clearly there's a section of the fans who are not very happy at the moment?
Like I said, all I can focus on is my job. My job is focused on the pitch. I understand fans, all fans, they pay money, they love their club, they want the best for the club. What's best for the club is that we win games of football on the pitch. So the more we do that, the less chances we have of demonstrations. Like I said in the beginning, I'm here to try and help this club win trophies in a short and long term, and that's what my focus is on, is winning the next game and making people go home happy.
You've also said you want to show the fans meaningful progress, which I also presume will take time, especially when you've got so many games back to back. So do you also have to ask them maybe for a bit of patience?
I think every manager would love patience. If that's a reality, that's not down to me. For me, I just want us to focus on the now. Like I keep saying, we have to be the best team we can be in this moment. And I have to go after certain things because I don't have training time. The team are recovering today. I have probably half an hour in terms of the physical load tomorrow to work on things and patterns in training, but there are other things I can go after in terms of what we look like, what we stand for as a group. And with the players I have here, I think we can make meaningful progress, as you say, in a short space of time.
That's tough, isn't it? Because the fans want to see it now, but as you say, you haven't got the time to.
The manager's job is tough. I'm privileged. I'm lucky to do this job. I'm lucky and fortunate to be manager of this football club. I always knew it was going to be a difficult job, but it's a job that I'm enjoying and relishing, and hopefully I can be successful in.
And just one more. We're in January. Transfer window's open. Do you think you need to bring players in this month?
I think if we do, it needs to be the right player. We need to be patient. I want to assess this group. It's really, really important to me. I like to give the players I work with a chance to show good surprises. We still have time. We have obviously conversations every day, myself and the board, about potential transfers, both out and in. But at the same time, I need to focus on the players in the building. And if I feel it's the right time or the right player, then we'll make that decision.
Simon.
Well, speaking of players that may be on the way out, is Tyree George part of your plans, or do you think he'll be sold this month?
The honest answer is I don't know. Tyreek is a player of immense potential who I've been aware of for a long time. He's been unfortunate the first game against Charlton. He travelled with the group. He wasn't in the group. Yesterday he was on the bench. I've said this to the players. Your background, whether you're an academy player, whether you've been signed for £100 billion, it's about what you do in training. And I have to say his attitude to training and what I've seen, his attitude in the group has been top class. So who's to know? A lot of things have to come together for a player to leave. You need the right interest, you need the right offer. It needs to be right for the player. At that moment, I've heard nothing in terms of Tyreek, in terms of that, and I continue to work with him in the group.
And is there an update on Romeo Lavia and when you think he might be able to play?
Yeah, Romeo's on pitch. He's not with the group, but seeing him out on the pitch doing his rehab, he's looking really, really good. I think we all know, I love him. Firstly, as a lad, as a player, he's someone that I would love to work with in the long term because he's just an outstanding footballer. The most important thing for him now is to make sure we don't push him too hard so that when he does come back, he's back for good and I can get some real work into him tactically. But for me, he's a player that I can't wait to have back in the group at the same time, and I'm really, really looking forward to having him back with us.
No time frame.
No time frame. The time frame that has to be that is right in terms of him coming back and being back for good.
Rob.
Hi. Josh Aitchington did well, I thought, in the first half last night, particularly in possession when your team were going forward. How do you see him being used the rest of this season and next, considering he's got Reece James, Malagusto in front of him? He's going to need to be playing regularly.
Yeah, I think the beautiful thing with Josh is that he can play probably 5 different positions. He can play on the left, he can play centre back, he can play right centre back, he can play midfield, he can play on the wing. That's a great thing to have for a player of his age and his temperament. I've been so impressed with him so far in the last 2 games and in training. He's a very level-headed kid with a lot of humility, which is a great sign. And yeah, I'm going to keep pushing him. I'm going to keep demanding different things from him because he has a really, really bright future.
Do you personally place much responsibility on more senior players in the squad helping with the development of younger guys who play in that position, or would you just rather focus on their own game?
No, I think when I was a player, the most important conversations I had were with senior players. I didn't listen as much to my coaches as I hope my players do to me when I was a player. I want that interaction between the group. You know, whether it's Josh speaking to Reece James, that is an unbelievable conversation with the experiences that Reece has had. I want to encourage that interaction between the group, but I also want the players to feel confident enough in their.
Mikel Arteta's work at Arsenal is being viewed in an even brighter light after the recent coaching shakeups elsewhere. With Chelsea parting ways with Enzo Maresca and Manchester United moving on from Ruben Amorim, the contrast is hard to miss. Arsenal has kept moving forward under Arteta, giving him time through difficult stretches, and now seeing the payoff as the club pushes again in the Premier League title race. It also raises a bigger question about strategy. While Chelsea and United are changing direction again, Arteta has been in place for more than 6 years, outlasting a long list of managers across those 2 clubs in that span. That stability has become part of the story. And it was a major talking point on the Seeing Red podcast with Tom Canton and John Cross. Beyond reacting to Amorim's dismissal and breaking down wins over Aston Villa and Bournemouth, plus Manchester City's loss to Chelsea, the conversation kept returning to one core idea: structure. Not just who is the coach, but how much power that coach has, and whether the club is built to support a long-term project. Cross pointed to Arsenal as a rare example of patience turning into real strength. He argued that Arsenal's willingness to back Arteta through the messy early phases helped create the stable position they're in now, and that this kind of time and support investment is what can turn a club into something truly solid. Canton's response was sharp and honest. Arteta's arc, he said, has almost become a problem for other clubs, because it tempts them to keep coaches they probably shouldn't. But at the same time, it's still the best example of what can happen when you hire the right person and actually give them time. And that time wasn't smooth. The discussion highlighted how Arsenal could easily have pulled the plug early. 2 8th-place finishes, then 5th, missing out on the Champions League, and a Europa League semi-final exit to Unai Emery's Villarreal. Any of those moments could have pushed a club into panic mode. Instead, the argument is that Arsenal recognized the bigger reality. Arteta didn't have the resources to compete at the required level right away. The squad needed a rebuild. The roster needed to be refreshed. That's where the comparison to Chelsea and United becomes even more pointed. The podcast suggested that recruitment and decision-making structure are often what determine whether a coach survives. If signings don't land, results suffer. And if a coach doesn't have enough influence, or the club isn't aligned behind a clear plan, it becomes much easier for things to collapse. In other words, giving time only works if the coach is empowered to shape the team in a way that matches the vision. Cross also emphasized that Arteta's situation stood out because he pushed to be a true manager, not just a head coach. The idea is simple. Top coaches want a real say in the build, and they want the club to match what they were promised when they took the job. The discussion even pointed to how Arteta survived a low moment, like the home loss to Burnley, because the club stayed behind him. And in that period, with fan pressure affected by the COVID-era environment, Arsenal were able to hold their nerve instead of reacting emotionally. Meanwhile, the big unknowns now shift back to Chelsea and Manchester United. Who replaces Amorim? And how will the next chapter look at Chelsea? The answers may come sooner than people expect. But for Arsenal, the reality stays the same. They're stable, they're moving forward, and they're still in the title chase, while others are starting over again. And that contrast can shape how people judge every manager in the league. Because when two massive clubs hit the reset button again, it forces the same question Cross raised on the show. Is the quick switch actually fixing the problem, or just delaying the real work? The bigger takeaway from the discussion is that time isn't a magic solution by itself. It only becomes valuable when the club's structure supports the plan. And when the coach has the influence to push the squad in the direction he believes it needs to go. That's why the distinction between head coach and manager kept coming up. The podcast point is that if a coach is expected to own the results, he usually wants a meaningful say in the decisions that shape those results. And if he doesn't get that, patience alone won't save him. That's also where Arteta's early struggles get reframed. Those finishes and setbacks could have become a reason to panic. Instead, they became evidence of why alignment matters, because Arsenal chose to treat them as part of a build, not a final verdict. And once the squad was reshaped the way the club believed it needed to be, the results started to reflect that long-term approach. So the repercussions aren't just about Arsenal looking stable, it's about how stability changes your margin for error. When you don't reset every year, you're not constantly starting from zero. You're building on decisions, learning from setbacks, and keeping a clearer identity. For Chelsea and Manchester United, the immediate consequence is obvious. They're changing direction again, which means the next appointment carries even more weight. Because every new coach isn't just judged on results. He's judged on whether the club is finally giving him the structure and authority that the role demands. That's why the question at the end matters so much. Who will replace Amorim? And how will Liam Rosenior do at Chelsea? Because those answers will test the exact theme the show kept returning to. Time, support, structure, and control. And for Arsenal, it's a different kind of pressure. Stability doesn't guarantee trophies, but it does keep you in the fight longer. And right now, while others restart, Arsenal get to stay focused on what they're already doing, chasing the Premier League title.